We are just a week away from the launch of Diablo 4, and one of the most important early game decisions you will have to make is which world tier is best suited for you. Now, I am a hardcore player, but regardless of the game mode you play, I think there's a right world tier for all parties and playstyles, and we're going to go over them here today. However, before we jump in, just remember, above all, do what's fun for you. Some players like myself will rush to the end game, while others will take their time. There's no wrong way to play the game the way you like, and never feel bad for it. Jumping right in, one of the things you need to take into consideration is what each world tier actually provides to understand what's right for you. World Tier 1 will basically give you nothing. It's the default difficulty with the AI that seems dumb to me and presents no challenge whatsoever. If you want to just enjoy the story or get to the end game as quickly as possible, then World Tier 1 will probably be ideal for you. World Tier 2 on the other hand is kind of the same with a little bit more. You get 20% more experience, but the mobs are a bit tankier. This means if you're a lower DPS class like the druid or barbarian, then World Tier 1 feels more appealing as the extra time investment for the kill is pretty much meaningless compared to the rewards. On top of that, the AI is marginally better, I guess. Rather than not hitting you, the AI hits you a bit more and does a few more things. Nothing I would call skill requiring or challenging, but enough to make you want to use a potion a few times maybe. The most important thing to keep in mind when it comes to World Tier 2 is that there is no gear drop benefit. So by default, generally as a player, it probably won't be worth the time investment. And even if hypothetically it was, you're going to be swapping gear anyway, so having increased gear drops may not be worth the effort, except maybe for materials, of course. But even then, in the grand scheme of things, the campaign is never really important to your in-game build and probably should be treated as such. With that said, classes that have better damage like the rogues that is good throughout the entire game will probably be fine with World Tier 2 compared to the barbarian or druid, as their damage is just amazing at all times for some reason. Also, if you're playing in a party, I do think this may be a reasonable reason to play in World Tier 2, as I do feel the game is marginally easier with teammates, which isn't a bad thing in my opinion. I think team play is something a lot of ARPGs are missing, and Diablo 4 is pretty good about it. Alongside that, you also get 15% increased gold drop rate. Again, I really think that when it comes to the early game in the campaign, the stuff that you get really doesn't matter too much. So while the gold is pretty decent, I also don't think that's a big enough draw to justify the difficulty increase and health scaling increase for World Tier 2. Now, from a hardcore player perspective, I will be sticking with World Tier 1 until World Tier 3 opens up. Honestly, the increased HP is a bit too much for me personally to justify playing in World Tier 2, and the actual challenge doesn't start until 3. With the increased HP, it feels more like a tedious mobs rather than increased difficulty on the mobs, and the campaign hasn't really proven to be difficult to me, so for hardcore, I think World Tier 1 is probably going to be ideal. So, small recap here, if you're a solo barb or druid or simply want to enjoy the story, just go World Tier 1. Now, if you're a rogue, sorc, or necro, playing a meta build, or you're in a party, you very likely won't notice too much, so World Tier 2 may be ideal for those classes. Now, I think there are a lot of other factors to consider when you're choosing what world tier to play, but again, as I said, you should probably just play what's fun for you. There's no right or wrong answer, but I would like to see what players think about the world tier system. But tell me down below, what world tier do you think you're going to be playing on? That's going to be pretty much it for this video, guys. It's short and simple to the point. Don't forget to like as well as subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next video very, very soon. Later.